I'm Selene Speaks and welcome back to my channel. What happens when a Defense Department official leaks potentially classified war plans into a third-party messaging app? It's simple. People start questioning if they were really hired for their qualifications or if they were hired to meet DEI quotas. Stick around. Quick disclaimer, this is a fair use video. I'll be providing my own commentary and criticism. Let's get started. So before we start, let's talk about what Signal is. It's a messaging platform or software that's managed by a third-party developer. While its communications are supposedly encrypted, anyone can download the app from their device's app store. Which begs the question, does encryption even matter if the leak is coming from inside the house?
We traced the call. It's coming from inside the house. You hear me? You need to get out of there right now.
So let's fast forward to who was involved in the chat. Jeffrey Goldberg, an editor and journalist of The Atlantic, was mistakenly added to the Signal group chat, which also included top-ranking officials in the Trump administration. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, Vice President J.D. Vance, and Secretary of State Marco Rubio were all alleged to have been members of the group chat. On March 15, 2025, just 2 hours before U.S. forces launched military attacks on Houthi in Yemen, Hegseth allegedly shared sensitive operational details, like target locations and weaponry plans, in this third-party messaging app.
The texts were sent by the Defense Secretary 2 hours before the airstrikes began. At 11:44 a.m. Eastern Time, Hegseth posted, "Weather is favorable, just confirmed with CENTCOM. We are a go for mission launch." Then he went on to outline the operation's future timeline. 12:15 Eastern, F-18s launch, first strike package. 14:15, strike drones on target. This is when the first bombs will definitely drop. 15:36, F-18 second strike starts. Also, first sea-based Tomahawks launch.
This sensitive or potentially classified information should have only been shared through a secure government channel, instead of a third-party messaging app like Signal.
Congressman Krishnamurti quoted from the DoD manual on classified information.
Information shall be classified if its unauthorized disclosure could reasonably be expected to cause describable damage to national security. This includes military plans, weapon systems, or operations.
That's also an accurate quote.
What was shared in the Signal group chat goes beyond war plans because they included the timing of the operations.
And you might be asking yourself, why is this a big deal? Well, military planning is supposed to happen in private and secure settings. The fact that a journalist of all people ended up with these sensitive details is very telling about the competence level of the person who shared that information. And it also reveals a major failure in security protocols. Thank God that this journalist, Jeffrey Goldberg, is an ethical journalist because he could have sold that information, and he also exercised discretion in the information that was shared with him. And the only person who seems to be taking any accountability in this matter is Marco Rubio, and he's not even responsible for the alleged leak. He himself even said it was a mistake that shouldn't have happened.
Obviously, someone made a mistake. Someone made a big mistake and added a journalist. Nothing against journalists, but you ain't supposed to be on that thing. For my role, I contributed to it twice. I identified my point of contact, which is my chief of staff, and then later on, I think 3 hours after the White House's official announcements had been made, I congratulated the members of the team. I've been assured by the Pentagon and everyone involved that none of the information that was on there, though not intended to be divulged, obviously that was a mistake and that shouldn't have happened, and the White House is looking at it, but that none of the information on there at any point threaten the operation of the lives of our servicemen.
Yeah, but what if the same mistake is repeated? And how will it affect the next mission? Sloppy mistakes have consequences. But this issue also raises questions about how this information was shared and if it could have led to bigger problems. For instance, our military pilots could have been placed in danger before they made that strike. What if that information that was shared in the Signal app would have gotten into the wrong hands? So what's next? The Pentagon has passed the information over to the National Security Council and to the White House for investigation to figure out how the journalist Goldberg was added to the chat as a contact. With something as major as a leak of potentially classified or sensitive national security information through a third-party app like Signal, that should be taken more seriously. And it's really true what they say about sometimes what people have going on in their past can manifest in other ways. For example, their work. And we may be seeing a case of that here with the incident that just happened with this information that was supposedly leaked through the Signal app. But when it comes to the Secretary of Defense position, I think that's where he dropped the ball. In fact, I think he could have done a lot better. He could have found someone else who was less problematic, someone who doesn't have so much of a history, who was maybe more experienced. Why wasn't a secure in-house communications system used to relay the war plans? What do you think about this national security breach? Do you feel like they're taking it seriously, or do you feel like they're trying to sweep it under the rug? Should journalists have access to these types of confidential details? And do you feel that anyone should be held accountable for the breach of the potentially classified information? Feel free to leave your comments in the description box below. If you liked the video, don't forget to thumbs up the video, subscribe, and share this video with someone else who likes this type of commentary. Until next time, thanks for watching.